It does work both ways.
Yeah.
If you believe that enlightenment exists for you and you want to travel that path, you will begin to be aware of how to behave, how to act, how to speak, as if you're already enlightened. So that helps to bring you up.
Yes.
And it keeps on going.
Okay. While you were talking, I wrote down a note here to talk with you about how do we open ourselves up more.
I kind of just said that.
I know. That's what I thought you would say, but
well, there's always meditation.
I knew it.
Yep, see, you already knew that answer. But even just becoming, and this would be your ego, you telling your ego to smile more, pay more attention to those around you, to what is around you. Even things like being careful what you step on when you're outdoors walking around. Grass and even weeds are meant to be stepped on. But once in a while you might, I don't know, see an insect. Try to avoid it. Just little behaviors to be more aware of, say, a bush or a flowering plant. Definitely trees. Trees are good folk. And appreciate their beauty, appreciate their existence. Pause for even just a minute moment in your linear time to, like I say, appreciate it. Appreciate its beauty. Appreciate its value to existence on your planet. That's a broad way of saying it, but yeah.
We can meditate to raise our frequencies, among other things. What can you do to raise yours?
It's an ongoing process.
And what are some key points of that process? You knew that question was coming.
Does it really matter?
I knew that answer was coming.
Because everyone travels, each being travels its own path. And there are many ways to be benevolent and compassionate. And this applies to physical beings in any dimension or reality. But it continues to apply in the, shall we say, the spirit realm, the beyond. There's always room to improve. One of the ways is what Thane is doing for you all by answering your myriad of questions, being a good sport about a lot of things. Let's say teaching a class or being a spirit guide and helping someone along their life when they don't even recognize that there is such a thing before they've even opened up to the reality of that. Teaching, learning, growing. I think that's the way Thane puts it. teaching, learning, growing. It sounds right.
Okay. What are some of Sarah's beliefs that she needs to work on?
That's something personal to her, and her spirit guides will help her with that as she meditates more and more. Those beliefs that need to be disregarded will come forth, and she'll recognize them and deal appropriately into beliefs that are more true to her true self. But that is not for discussion here. It's private.
How about for me?
Same.
There has been some discussion and even evidence that entities on this 3D world named or called giants once lived on it. Is there any truth to that?
Oh, yes.
Can
All
you-
kinds of beings have lived on this planet over the millennia, many millennia. Some got along, some did not. Yeah.
So did the giants basically keep to themselves, or what type of personality did they have, if any?
I'm smiling because, of course, you would ask that question.
Mm-hmm. Now I see what Thane puts up with.
Think about it yourself.
I have.
How diverse is the human population as it is at present in your linear
Very.
time?
Well, somewhat, not very, somewhat diverse. So we still have 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head and a body. So
But
we're all about the same
personalities,
size.
personalities are
It's a
different.
wide range, yes.
Yes. The same with giants. There just weren't as many. Individual giant beings. There were a lot more than any of your scientists. Well, I say that with a grain of salt because a lot of them still do not believe that giants ever existed. But they did. And not quite to the tune of the billions that are on Gaia right now, but hundreds of thousands. But you're not going to find 100,000 skeletons.
No.
Actually, many of them. Quite a few of them went to other planets. They were assisted by what you call extraterrestrials. A relative few achieved mastery and ascended on their own.
Cool.
In other words, became non-corporeal
Yes.
on their own.
That changes the entire outlook of giant kind,
Why would it do that?
in my view, because we always think of giants as being mean. But what you just said disproves that.
There might have been a few meanies, as you say. But in general, they too strove for enlightenment. At first, maybe not knowing that's what it was they were looking for. But in so doing, and utilizing, should I say, nature, being out in nature, and they began to appreciate the beauty and the diversity. Which lifted them up. And then they opened up more, just like what I just told you that humanity must do. They became kinder, more compassionate toward each other, benevolent toward their surroundings, more appreciative of their surroundings, of each other, and even of puny humans. That's one reason many of them left with extraterrestrials, because humans were becoming afraid of them, and they did not want to exacerbate that fear. Fear is not a good emotion to act upon.
Right.
Unless there's a reason for it. You know, if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, you better have some fear in you. It'll lend wings to your feet.
I have just one word here. Healers. Exactly.
What about?
How do they operate, I guess, is what I want to know. How many different types of healers are there? Is it them channeling Gaia's energy or their own energy? Are they wave guides, so to speak?
All of the above. Healers come in as much of a variety as your physical. That's why they're called physicians. Even more so, perhaps, because they find within themselves the capacity, the gift, if you will, but it's more of a capacity in different ways, whether they look for a specific energy or the energy of the person needing healed, the energy of the illness or disease, or the energy of the earth, or a combination of all of these things. It's kind of difficult to pinpoint it.
Yes. But you did, believe it or not.
I did.
Yep.
Okay.
Very varied.
Yes.
I know there is no time, but in Earth we have time. Using Sarah's age as a comparison, how long have you known Sara? That's a weird question.
It is a weird question because I know her now. I know you now.
And you know us all the other times too.
Because everything is now.
Yep. Thanks.
Well, see, you already knew that one.
Can you yourself manipulate consciousness and energy in this 3D world to create things?
If I wanted to. I'm, shall we say, beyond that desire. I have no need. For one, I'm not corporeal, so why should I create things? I'd much rather create, well, I was going to say enlightenment, but people might not understand. But I would much rather create the Well, I'm not really creating it though. The higher energies, the higher frequencies, it all comes from source. I have no need to create.
Whenever you answer, this is directed more towards Thane, but you can answer also. Oh, no, forget that. Yeah.
Really?
I bypassed the question.
Okay.
As your frequencies rise, do you have access to new information?
Well, yes and no. I mean, one way of looking at it, since everything is now and everyone is connected to source, every being, whether physical or spiritual or whatever, has access, whether or not an individual being desires such access or knows how to access this information. It's out there. It's not going away. Does that answer your question?
Yes and no.
Uh-oh.
But that's okay. You gave me something to think about.
That's good.
I had a question based on what you were talking about, but it has since left because I started to listen to what you were saying instead of the question.
That's probably a good thing.
Yep. Now to the question I was going to ask earlier and decided not to, but now I'm going to ask it anyhow. How much of the answers you give to me and Sara, how much of it is you and how much of it is Sara?
It's mostly me. When necessary, I can pick something out of her mind to perhaps use words you're more familiar with, or to pet the cat, or to smile indulgently at your questions, or, So she is still primarily a conscious channeler, although she probably won't remember much of this until she watches the recording. I feel the need to impart some information that Sara has been learning, and she is anxious to impart it. I already began some of it by talking about how each and every one of you and each and every being, whether physical or spiritual or dimensional, is valued. You would not exist otherwise. I got that from Bashar. But it's true. You are here. You are never ending. Your soul never ends. The physical shell might, but the soul never ends. And part of the joy of enlightenment is to fully embrace the realization of how important you are to Source, because you're part of Source, and Source is part of you. That's really it in a nutshell. And if you take nothing from anything on this recording, take that. You are valuable. I think that's it.
Is there a connection between our egos and emotions?
Of course there is, but I'm leaving now.
Okay, bye.